Students, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this channel, you will learn about the various concepts of economics in a short period of time. Let's start. Today, we will study about the cost and cost curves. Now, first, we have to understand about the cost. When the producer uses different factor inputs like land, labor, capital, organization to produce goods and the services, then all those factor inputs need to be paid in the form of like rent, wage, interest, payment to the raw materials. So all the expenditure that the producer do for the payment of the different factory inputs to produce goods and services is called the cost. In other words, cost is the sum of the price paid to the inputs like rent, interest, wages, and others by the producer to produce goods and services. It's called the cost of production. And the cost of production is very important as for the producer to measure the profit or the loss, he or she needs to have knowledge about the cost. So there are various concepts of cost. So some of the concepts of cost like money cost. Money cost, from the name it's clear that the cost incurred in the form of money for the payment of rent, interest, wage, payment for the raw materials, etc. in the terms of money is called the money cost. Real cost. Real cost denotes the sacrifices made by the producer to produce goods and the services. When the producer produces goods and services, he or she needs to sacrifice lots of things. He or she has to bear the lots of pain, utility, discomfort in the business, and that is called the real cost. Now, accounting cost. Accounting cost, the cost which are needed for the book of account is called the accounting cost. And in this cost, the producer, when uses the different factory inputs like land, labor, capital, the payment for the raw material, then all those expenses need to be made, and those expenses are recorded in the book of account, and it's called the accounting cost. Explicit cost. Explicit costs are those costs which are bear by the producer for the payment of the outside factor inputs. Like when the producer produces goods and services, he or she uses the land, labor, capital, so they need to be paid. So the outside factors inputs, the payment in the form of rent, wage, interest is called the explicit cost. Now, implicit cost. And implicit cost are those costs for which the producer's own factor input, like when the producer produces goods and services, he or she uses her own land, so the rent of his or her own land, and he or she uses her own capital, so the interest of his or her payment for the capital like interest. And when he or she work in his her own business firm, then the payment in the form of age for his contribution in the business. So all those costs which the producer own factor inputs payment is called the implicit cost. And in generally the explicit cost and the accounting cost are the same. So the last one is the economic cost. And economic cost is the sum of explicit cost and the implicit cost. That means economic cost equals to explicit cost plus implicit cost. When the explicit cost and the implicit cost are added together, then the cost altogether comes, and that total amount is known as the economic cost. So thank you for watching my video. If you find this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.